What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Realms of Metal. Eddie here, back with you from somewhere in the woods in Pennsylvania. It's not raining now, but I guarantee you in 5 minutes it'll be a fucking torrential downpour because that's all it's been here lately. Um, Hanging here in my metal room, my happy place. Uh, Last week we did a video on 15 perfect death metal records to start your collection with. And I had a great time doing that. It was a stroll down memory lane. Um, we got some comments on the last video. People seem to really enjoy it and like watching it. So I figured, let's do another 15 because there's so many death metal records to start your collection with. There's a lot of great death metal records. So let's do another 15 more. I also got a bonus one in there too. So I just want to shout out to everybody who watched and commented on the last video. Thank you very much for hanging with me for a little bit. You know, in this day and age where, life is upside down, besides your family and your friends, you got to find things that make you happy. Talk about things that make you happy. Metal and talking about metal definitely makes me happy, and I know a lot of you guys out there as well. Horror movies make me happy. Godzilla makes me happy. He's actually right here too, hanging with me. So that said, find things that make you happy in this world. Shout out to a couple of guys on the last video that commented. Ethereal Metal Records. Thank you, brother. Uh, Check out his channel. I'll link his channel down below here. Check him out. He seems like a really good dude. Um, Thank you to Metal Maestro for the comment. Thank you to let me see if I'm saying this right. Peazokoki, if I'm saying that right. Cheers, brother. Thanks for the comment. Um, so that being said, let's have some fun. So with this 15, I went back in my collection. These are all either 10 out of 10 or 9.5 out of 10. Like they're all great records. I wouldn't say they're all perfect, but they're damn near perfect records that you should have in your collection. I got them in mind, whether they're on vinyl or CD or whatever. So that said, let's have at it. So I wanted to go back to the roots of death metal. I went to Possess Seven Churches. Now, this came out in 1985 on Combat, and this is arguably the first death metal record. Like it's a death thrash record. There's a lot of thrash influence, but Jeff Becerra was really the first one to use those harsh vocals. Now, just like in digging around in my stuff, like this came out in 1985, right? So Possessed also did a demo in 1984 called Death Metal, right? On that Death Metal demo, there were three tracks: Evil Warriors, Burning in Hell, and Death Metal, which are all on here. They ended up on this one. But you can't count out Mantis, which was pre-death, right? Chuck Schuldiner. Mantis also did a demo in 1984 called Death by Metal, and that was it was Chuck Schuldiner, Rick Ross, and Cam Lee. Cam Lee did vocals and drums on that, I think. That also came out in 1984. Harsh vocals on that by Chuck. I mean, so check that out. You be the judge. I know Becerra is credited with, the first death metal style vocal, but you got to remember that Mantis demo came out in 84 as well. I know Death's first full length didn't come out till 87, which is, the legendary Scream Bloody Gore, which everybody knows about. But, you be the judge. Let me know what you think. Throw the comments down below. I'm going with Possessed and Jeff, but you can't count out Chuck and Mantis back then. So legendary record. I mean, just the opener, right? If you're a horror fan, like The Exorcist, you got the Exorcist theme music in the beginning. Like that just gives you chills, right? That's fucking killer, right? The Exorcist, Pentagram, Burning in Hell, Evil Warriors, Seven Churches. Jesus, I mean, even the song Death Metal is on that first demo and on here. So take it for what you will. But this is a record that needs to be in your collection. Possess Seven Churches. Go out and get it. So let's go to now. I have four modern death metal records in this list. And when I say modern, it's the year 2000 or up. That's what I mean by modern. And also, my bonus is going to be a modern too. I tried to throw some in here that you wouldn't think would be in here, but are still amazing records nonetheless. So let me know what you think. But I'm going to go to Belgium, 2001, modern record, Aborted's Engineering the Dead. This has always been my favorite Aborted. The songs on here just fucking kill. It's raw as fuck. Like, I love everything about this record. This came out in, like I said, 2001 on Listenable. This was their second full length at the time. Always been my favorite Aborted record. They got little movie clips like Hellraiser and stuff in there too that, make it that much more fun to listen to. Sounds great. Even I don't know about the original, but this version has Suffer the Children as a bonus track, the Napalm Death cover, which is, one of the greatest death metal songs of all time. So pick this up. Really good. Aborted from Belgium. I'm sure you know who they are, but this is a must for me. This is a must for your collection. So I got another modern one here. We're going to go to 2012. Dying Fetus, Reign Supreme. I absolutely love this record. Dying Fetus has not released a bad record in their whole career, so they're one of those bands that just seem to keep getting better and better and better. But this one here, this is their seventh full length at that time, and this was on Relapse. And by the way, Relapse this was out of print for a while. Relapse just repressed this, and it's available on their website. Go get it. It hasn't been available for a while. I've been watching it for a while. And I mean, it's like, $150 to get the original pressing. Like, the original pressings are fine, but I don't really need them. Like I just want a good pressing of the record, whether it's the first pressing or the 10th pressing. I don't give a shit, so get it. It hasn't been available for a while. Pick it up. Reign Supreme. Just a side note, Dying Fetus's new record is called Make Them Beg for Death, and the pre-orders are also up on Relapse's website. It's coming out September 8th. Go pre-order the fucking thing. The stuff that we've heard on it so far has been amazing. But as for this, like, every song on here is good. Invert the Idol, Subject to a Beating, Second Skin, From Womb to Waist. Like, oh man, In the Trenches. Such a good record. I love Dying Fetus. I don't think they get the credit they deserve. They're an underrated band. Support these guys. Go see them live. Pick up the records. Pick up the new record. Reign Supreme. All right, so let's go to 1993. Edge of Sanity from Sweden. The Spectral Sorrows. This is kind of like a melodic death metal record. Dan Swano's, Edge of Sanity that he started. I always loved this record. I had it on CD when I was a kid. I still have the CD, but I grabbed the vinyl too. This was their third full length at that point on Black Mark, which was Black Mark was Bathory. It was Quorthon's father's label. So all the Black Mark stuff is the Bathory records. This was also on Black Mark too. I love all the songs on this record. They're just, I have a lot of memories listening to this record when I was a kid. Dark Day, Live in Hell, Lost, Blood of My Enemies is the Manowar cover, one of my favorite covers ever. Like, if you watch one of our old videos where Ant and I were talking about our favorite covers, Blood of My Enemies was on there. Sacrificed is a really unique song. It sounds like something from the 80s. There's like a synthesizer on it, like that. I think Dan Swano plays that. And it's almost like a death metal meets the 80s track. Like, you have to listen to it to know what I'm talking about. Pick this record up. It's so good. The Spectral Sorrows, Edge of Sanity from Sweden. A must for your collection. Always my favorite Edge of Sanity record from all the stuff they've done. Okay, let's go to Your Souls Will Bleed. Hell's Unleashed. Unleashed Death Metal Legends from Sweden. This is their second full length, Shadows in the Deep. Arguably, I could have put the first one on there, which is Where No Life Dwells. I like this one a tiny bit more than Where No Life Dwells. This came out in 1992 on Century Media. You can't go wrong with the first three Unleashed records. You got Where No Life Dwells, Shadows in the Deep is 92, and then Across the Open Sea is 93. I like this one the most out of those three, but they're all legendary records. I got to see Unleashed one time in my life, and I'm itching to see him again. It was a show. It was Unleashed with Belphegor and Immolation. Like, how much fucking better does it get than that in a club? Like, it was amazing. Final Silence, Shadows in the Deep. Countess Bathory is such a cool cover on here. One of the best covers. Another one of my favorite covers. Countess Bathory's on here. Onward into Countless Battles, Crushed the Skull, Land of Ice. Great record. Pick it up. You can't go wrong with any of the first three Unleashed. This one I like a little bit more than the other two, but they're all good. So pick all three of them up if you can. But Unleashed, Shadows in the Deep. All right, let's go to 1993. Brutality, Screams of Anguish. Brutality is from the States. They're from Florida. This came out in 1993 on Nuclear Blast. I've always loved this record. I haven't seen it on vinyl, or else I would have picked it up. But it's got great sound. The vocals on it are great. Songs are good. These Walls Shall Be Your Grave. Ceremonial Unearthing. Sympathy is the instrumental. Killer instrumental. Septicemic Plague. Spirit World. Cries of the Forsaken. Cryptorium is a death metal anthem in my book. Cryptorium, that track, was also on, if you collected those Death is Just the Beginning compilations, on the first one, they did Cryptorium. They had Cryptorium on there from Brutality, but it was like a demo version. And in my opinion, that demo version that ended up on that compilation is actually better than the one that ended up on here. It's darker and sounds more evil. And you tell me what you think. Google, go to YouTube and do Cryptorium, the regular album version and the demo version. Let me know what you think. Always been one of my favorite records. I had this since I was a kid. Like I said, if I see the vinyl, I'll grab it, but I haven't seen it. So Brutality, Screams of Anguish, 1993 Nuclear Blast, their first full length. Let's go to 1991. Entombed's Clandestine. This was my first Entombed record, even before Left Hand Path. Now, I could have easily put Left Hand Path on here. It's still a legendary record. This one I like a little bit more. I mean, it's as controversial as that might seem. I do. I like this one better. I think the songs are better. I don't know. I just like the songwriting on this one a little bit better than Left Hand Path. So, legendary band Entombed from Sweden. Like I said, second full length on Earache. This came out in 1991. You've got Living Dead, which is like an anthem of mine. Like, such a good track. Sinners Bleed, Evelyn, Blessed Be, Stranger Eons, another killer track. Chaos Breed, Crawl, Severe Burns. Like, come on. Legendary Swedish death metal. Pick up Entombed's Clandestine. Also pick up Left Hand Path and pick up Wolverine Blues too. Well, very cool. Entombed. Let's go to 1994. Graves, Solas, another legendary Swedish death metal band, one of the originators of it all. I have all the Grave stuff. I love all the grave stuff, especially the old stuff. I picked Solas because I like it slightly better than the other early ones. So you've got Into the Grave was 91. Then you've got You'll Never See, which was 92, both monsters. And then this was Solas, which was 1994. I just think the songwriting got a little bit more mainstream on this one, but it's still heavy as fuck, and it's still a pure death metal record. Turning Black, Soulless, Bullets Are Mine. That's such a killer track, you know. And Here I Die, Rain, like Brave, Soulless, 1994 needs to be in your collection, along with the first two as well, Into the Grave and You'll Never See. But I opted with this one because I like it a little bit more. So pick that up, put it in your collection. Let's go to 1992, Deicides Legion. Another monster of a record. We talked about the first Deicide record on the last video, how it's probably my favorite. It's one of my favorite records ever. This is a very strong record, very good death metal record. Almost perfect in my book. Not quite perfect, but almost perfect. It needs to be in your collection. So Deicide, obviously from Florida. This came out on RC Records, 1992. The whole first side is legend. Satan Spawn, the Kako Daemon, Dead But Dreaming, Repent to Die, Try Fiction. Side A is, 10 out of 10. Then you got Behead the Prophet, No Lord Shall Live, Holy Deception, and Hell I Burn. Revocate the Agitator. All great stuff. Pick up Deicides Legion. Pick up every Deicide record. It's just something you need. Like Deicide needs to be a band that you're familiar with in the death metal genre. So pick up all their stuff. You won't be disappointed. Killer stuff. Again, this is from the box set, just like my last record was from the box set. Let's go to 1991. Bolt Throwers, War Master, Bolt Thrower from England. This was their third full length on Earache at the time. Always been my favorite Bolt Thrower record. They're all good. I just prefer this one to the others. I there's something about this one. This was the first Bolt Thrower record I ever bought, and then I got the rest from there as they went on and everything. But geez, intro, Unleashed Upon Mankind, What Dwells Within, Shreds of Sanity, Profane Creation, Cenotaph was one of the best songs they ever wrote. That's on here. War Master, absolutely killer. It's a record that needs to be in your death metal collection. Pick up Bolt Throwers, War Master. Okay, let's go to 1991. Immolation, Dawn of Possession. I bought this when it came out on CD. Or maybe it was cassette, and then I transferred it to CD. I don't quite remember. I think I might have had it on cassette and CD. Legendary, New York death metal, Masters, Immolation. Their first full length on RC Records. I saw them shortly after this album came out in a club with a band called Sorrow from upstate New York and another band called Matricore, who were, I believe also from New York. But legendary record. You can't go wrong with anything from Immolation's catalog. Like everything is good, especially the first four records are of legend. So I went with Dawn of Possession because it was, it's a sentimental record for me. This was 1991, like I said. Here and After was a second, which was 96, which is kind of a long gap. Like the first record was 91, and then Here and After was 96. A 5-year gap is pretty long. That would be a good question for Ross and Rob, if you ever get to meet them, is why there was such a big, long lapse between the first and the second record. Then you got Failure for Gods, which was what, 99, and then the other one was Close to a World Below, which was I believe 2000. 4 legendary records. I just went with this one because it happens to be my favorite of those 4, but they're all fucking amazing. So Into Everlasting Fire, Despondent Souls, Dawn of Possession. Those Left Behind is such an underrated track. Was always one of my favorite tracks on this. Internal Decadence, No Forgiveness Without Bloodshed, Burial Ground, After My Prayers, Fallen Disease, Immolation. I love it when bands do a song with their band title, like Immolation, and Deicide did it, and Unleashed, and like I love all that stuff. So it's like they're like paying tribute to themselves. Like it's just cool. It's like an anthem, for the band, in my opinion. I think Malevolent Creation does one too, called Malevolent Creation. So pick up Immolation, Dawn of Possession. Amazing artwork too, right? How fucking better, much better does it get than that? Killer legendary stuff. All right, so let's go to another modern one. This is going to be from 2002. Cataclysm, Shadows and Dust. Always one of my favorite Cataclysm records. Cataclysm from Canada. This was their 6th full length at the time. Nuclear Blast, 2002. Like, this is such a great record, man. Shadows and Dust. I got to see them on this tour, and I think it was the first time I saw Cataclysm at that point was on this tour. It was actually Cataclysm, Dying Fetus, and Into Eternity. Great bill, right? I mean, Jesus Christ. Shadows and Dust, Beyond Salvation, Illuminati, Chronicles of the Damned, I'm bound in chains, Where the Enemy Sleeps, Centuries Beneath the Dark Waters, Face the Face of War. Like, oh man. Years of Enlightened, Decades of Darkness. Like, oh, every song on here is good. Like, this is a 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 for me. Cataclysm. I actually bumped into Maurizio and Max at a show. They were like walking around the venue. I got to meet them real quick, briefly, but it was like cool to meet them. That was at a later show, and I actually met the bass player, Stefan, at this show when I went to see them back when this record came out. Really cool guys. Love Cataclysm. Cataclysm also has a new record coming out. I forget the name of it, but I'm going to pre-order it. So Shadows and Dust, killer stuff. Get it for your collection. Okay, let's go to, I got another modern one here. The mighty Cannibal Corpse's Kill. Of course, Cannibal Corpse from United States, Florida. This was their 10th full length at the time on Metal Blade, 2006. I saw them a couple times on this tour. Like Ant and I went, we saw them. It was like Sounds of the Underground or something like that. It was Cannibal Corpse and Behemoth and Guar and In Flames and all kinds of stuff. It was pretty killer. We actually got to meet all of them at the time at that show. They had like a table set up. We got to go get I got the poster actually behind me on the wall. Like, I'm looking at it. You guys can't see it, but I'm looking at the Kill poster with all their signatures on it that I had from that show all the way back then. Time to Kill Is Now. Make Them Suffer. Murder Warship. Necro Sadistic Warning. 5 Nails Through the Neck. Purification by Fire. The legendary Death Walking Terror. Fuck. Maniacal. Jeez, like, this is such a great record. Brutal as fuck. Every song on it is good. Again, a modern record that you should have in your collection. Cannibal Corpse's Kill. Legendary stuff. Pick this one up. So I've got 2 more left and then the bonus one. So I'm going to go to this one. This came out in 1991. Cancer's Death Shall Rise. I got this when it came out, and I fell in love with this record instantly. They're from England. This was their 2nd full length. People classify them as death thrash, and I would say that, like, on the first one, the first record I would say was more death thrash. To me, this was more death metal. Um, Restless Records. I love all the songs on this record. First one is Hung, Drawn, and Quartered, which is to me is like a death metal anthem. I think Glenn Benton did backing vocals on that track too. Hung, Drawn, and Quartered. Tasteless Incest, Burning Casket, Death Shall Rise, Back from the Dead, Gruesome Task, Corpse Fire, Internal Decay. This is one you definitely need for your collection. If you're not familiar with Cancer, go out and get the first 3 Cancer records. You won't be disappointed. This one happens to be my favorite, but love everything about it. Cancer. And the last one of the main list is going to be 1991 Carcass's Necroticism, Descanting the Insalubrious. Of course, the legendary Carcass from England. Somebody commented on the last video they would have put this ahead of Heartwork, and I'm not arguing that. This belongs on here too. I just went with Heartwork for the last one, but Necroticism is a record that you should absolutely have in your collection. It's, it's underground yet accessible. Like it's the production on it was a step up from the album that preceded it, and every song on here is good. Impropagation, Corporal Jigsaw Quandary. Shit, man. Incarnated Solvent Abuse is another really good one. All the songs are good. Pick up Carcass's Necroticism. You will not be disappointed, and it's a must-have. Let's go to, this is my bonus one. This is another modern death metal record that I believe you should have in your collection. If you're not familiar with it, they're called Satanus. They're from right here in motherfucking Pennsylvania. This was their record called Night Realm Apocalypse. They're classified as like black death metal, right? But they really have a thrash kind of vibe to them, especially on this record. There's really a thrash almost vibe to some of their stuff. This was their 7th full length. This is on Pagan Records, 2009. Satanus's Night Realm Apocalypse. Band you should probably get familiar with. All their stuff is good. I mean, go through their whole discography and you'll see. Start at the beginning, Ever Falling Darkness, Prayers of Armageddon, Night Realm Apocalypse, Black Witching Millennium. YouTube that track. Satanus, Black Witching Millennium. You're going to listen to that track and you're going to instantly fall in love with this band. I'm telling you right now. One with Satan, Demon Hellstorm, Kingdom of the Damned. Pick this up. Like, give these guys a shot. I guarantee you won't be disappointed. Satanus from Pennsylvania right here. And that's all I got for today. Another fun stroll down memory lane. 15 more plus a 16 more records that you need to have in your collection from a death metal fan standpoint. Any questions, comments, leave them below. Thanks for hanging with me again on the Realms of Metal. We appreciate it. You guys have a good rest of the day and have a good week going forward. See you soon. Thank you.